Congratulations if you've made it to the stage. So what's the next thing to do? Now you can see we are just creating everything on one file, and this does not really make too much sense. Yes, does not make sense. So let's try as much as possible to clean up this and make it look a little bit better. And before we do that, first, let's try to see how we can clean up all these functions that are in here. So that is what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be creating a route, and we're going to be creating what is called a controller. Now, what is called a route? So this is a route / post / So we want all this to be separated. And what is the controller? This function you see here is the controller. So you can put 1,000 code in here. You can put 1,000 code in here, right? So let's start with let's make it very simple. Let's simplify it before we move the route off. Now let's imagine the way this is structured. We don't want this to be shown already because it's already becoming messy. And I think I'll have to take in some other posts because some other requests that are not needed. So I don't think I will need the delete for now. I don't need the delete on this. So let's just make use of this two first. So you can see I started writing in some stuff. So I could write in thousands of code in here. So it doesn't make sense. What if I have this code somewhere like this? Because this is the function. This is the function that is running from here. And this is what we are. So what if I have to take off this function? Cutting it out. Now I'm going to create the function somewhere. And after creating the function somewhere with the name, then I'm going to import it here. What about that? So let's do that now. So there is nothing here now. Let me just put function name because I don't know what I will call the function yet. Is that okay? Or function name as the case may be. Doesn't matter. So the function name, that's my assumption. So I don't know what the name of the function will be. So I have to go to another page where I'm going to create what is called a controller. So I'd like to do that on a folder. So I'll go to the directory. To this, I'll just to the base directory. I'll create a folder, hit this, and create a folder and call it controllers. Right. Then these controllers that I'm going to be creating here, let's say controllers. So that's the name I want to call it. Now, this type of controller I want to create is a controller for posts. Now, the controllers could be for any, could be any type of any type. So let's just assume I'm creating a post controller for posts. So let me hit that. So create a file, call that file posts, right? Post controller. Okay, let me call it blog. Let's assume I want to make a blog post, right? I want to start making blog posts, and then I want to be able to read the blog post. I want to be able to delete the blog post. I want to be able to edit the blog post. So I'm just going to call this controller blog controller.js. That's the name of the file. So created. Now what next do I do? I have to paste in that I just copied. So this function is not living here, but this is not the way we create functions. So how do we create function? So we're going to say let's, right? Let's the name of that function that we want to call it. So let's assume we call this post blog. So if this is called a post blog, that means we want to actually create something that looks like this. So right now, this is called a post blog, right? So this is the name of the controller. So instead of me having this place empty, as you can see where I place the function name, so automatically this is now going to be post what? Post blog here. Excuse me for a moment. So this is going to be post blog, right? So that is it. So I'm having a post blog here. Now don't get it twisted. If I try to run this, it's going to break. I'm going to get an error. So I'm not running it now because there is no relationship between it yet. But that's the concept. I'm just trying to explain the concept to you that what I have here is what I'm placing here now. So instead of me writing all this, so this thing is living here. So let me make it available to every page. So how do we make it available to every page? So you can do module.export, module.exports. Then you say equal to post blog, which means that it's going to, as it's creating this post blog, is exporting it as well, which means that it's going to be available to every page that needs it. So what it means is that I'm exporting this function, right? So this function is available now. So let me save this and go back to the home page here. Now, at the home page, I have to import that function that I just created, right? I have to import it. Now, I'm putting the function here, but I have to import it. I have to show that it's actually coming in. So how do I do that? Very simple to do. So you come in here and do your so you can say const. What will I call this now? Maybe I'll call this a blog controller. Blog, yeah, let me call it controller. Now, this name does not really matter. It's just a variable name. So whatever name you call it, even if you like, you call it beans, rice, whatever name you call it does not really matter. But give it a name that you always remember and will be useful to you in the nearest future. So what are we requiring? So we're requiring a file, a file, and this file is located in a folder. So we put a quote, right? As you can see, it's already giving us hints of where we are. So we can hit the dot and we do a forward slash. You can see controllers already, and this is controllers. And what are we bringing in? We are bringing in the blog controller.js. Now you will be wondering, why is the JS not there? That's the default way of exporting. So it's not going to include the extension, which means that it has imported this. So now that it's importing it, it's importing this whole file. Then it's then going to look at this and say, oh, where is the function post blog? Yeah, now we got the function post blog living in there. And that is exactly what we are making use of here. So this is going to work now and nothing is going to break. So if we run this now and try to run what we did before, you can see it makes more sense. It's not going to break. So let's assume we are getting this. So we hit this, boom, and we are still getting this response. So if we go back to our, we'll go back to our terminal, we're going to see that email, the console.log. And now this does not live here. So it makes it cleaner. So you can see how clean this is, how clean and how beautiful it is. It's no longer as dirty as it was before now. So the same thing I do to this, I can also do it to this. Let's assume this is a GET request for us to be able to see the whole blog post, right? So I can just call this off and just the way I did to that. And then what will I call this? I'll say get blog. That's what I want to call this function, get all blog. So I'll do that. I'll go back to the same page so you can see it's crashing because nothing exists yet, nothing like that exists yet. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'll say module.export, right, equal to get blog post. I guess that's what I called it. And we're good to go. We can paste in our function, right? So this is it, rest or send, get blog posts, and boom. So let me just copy this and be sure that I'm using the right thing. And so it has been exported, and let's save this. So if we go to the app.this, so we'll find out that we'll place this get blog post, not get all blog, okay? So this is it, get blog post. So that is it. Now, we don't have to import because we have already said imported this whole file, this file, that is what is here. So that file lives here, and the file contains two, controllers or two functions. So we are bringing in the functions. So we can put in as many functions or controllers as we want to put in here. So if we go back here and save, we're not going to have this error again. So it disappears. So when we go back to the get request, just the way we did the first time using our client, our Postman client, you'll find out that our get request is working while we now have a controller. So we can hear this and boom, I think, oh, that's supposed to be a get request, not a post request. So a get request and boom, we go. So we have that. This is home page. Thank you. I hope to see you in the next class. Bye for now.